This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedies, celebrity interviews, news, or even motivational speakers, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue, right? And guess what? Now you can call the shots on your auto insurance, too. Enter the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. The Name Your Price tool puts you in charge of your auto insurance by working just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you a variety of coverages that fit within your budget, giving you options. Now that's something you'll want to press play on. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be able to choose from the best options for you fast. It's one of the many ways you can save with Progressive Insurance. Quote today at Progressive.com to try the new Name Your Price tool for yourself and join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
At Capella University, you'll get support from people who care about your success. From before you enroll to after you graduate. Pursue your goals knowing help is available when you need it. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu.
I wanted to start off this episode from what Tim Cook said on his Facebook page and also on his Twitter. Minneapolis is grieving for a reason. To paraphrase Dr. King, the negative peace, which is the absence of tension, is no substitute for the positive peace, which is the presence of justice. Justice is how we heal.
Hey, this is Adam Carolla from the Adam Carolla Show. BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs. Whether it's pro or college hoops, BetOnline has it all throughout the entire college and pro hoop season. BetOnline has up-to-the-minute odds, stats, trends you can follow all season long. Follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props as well. BetOnline is one of the world's best wagering platforms anytime, anywhere, and you can follow from your desktop or your mobile device. So, head to the website today and become part of the team. BetOnline. BetOnline. The game starts here at BetOnline.
At Capella University, you'll get support from people who care about your success. From before you enroll to after you graduate. Pursue your goals knowing help is available when you need it. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu.
Welcome, everybody, to the Think Different podcast. Obviously, this has been not the funnest episode that we're going to be having, but it's definitely a serious one. Obviously, the world has been going through a big change, not only in the last year, but in the last week or two, which has caused more wounds to open up. And now it's become it's all to the front of race, theft, riots, healing. It's just a really crazy world out there. And it is just it's hard to be positive for the whole week, just based on, because every day you're just watching something and it's putting you down, basically. So what we wanted to do today was have a special episode. Frank, of course, is here. And Frank, say hello, because, you're...
How you doing, Will? You were describing the feelings. The main thing that I've been feeling for the last, I don't know how long, it's depressed. I just feel really, really depressed. Mm-hmm. It's just not a fun time. It's at this juncture. I believe we should be beyond this stuff.
I agree. Yeah, and we agree. And we thought we have a special guest join us for an episode. A former Apple employee. You're a special guest, ladies and gentlemen. I call him GQ because if you saw his face and what he wore, you could tell he looks like a model. But I tell you right now, folks, he is definitely not a model. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Josh Robinson, former Apple genius, where we... That's right. So, Josh, we want to welcome you on. Tell us a little bit about yourself, since this is the first time our audience is hearing about you.
Of course. So as you said a little bit, previous Apple employee. I worked from Apple when I was like 19 up to like 23, 24. About like a little bit over 5 years. Of the last year or so, I switched careers. Still doing IT work, just, in a different field now. but I'm young. I'm half black. I'm half Puerto Rican. So I feel like these riots are hitting home right now, man. And I feel like I have a good insight, or maybe I don't, but I just have some shit to say. So that's why I wanted to join you guys today.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to bring you on, because it's one thing for me and Frank to talk about it, but to have someone on who could feel a little more attached to it based on what's happening would be a better look on it. So
exactly,
and that's why I wanted to talk about it. So Frank, you were I'm not gonna lie, you're older than us.
Yes, but
you were in you were in a time where this was just basic. You were there.
I was a child of the '60s. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was a Woodstock person. Initially, our generation was going to change the world, and it just didn't work out that way. Mm-hmm. But I surely would have liked it to have been more progressive than it is. What that police officer did is abhorrent. It's horrible, and I don't know anybody that would condone that. But at the same time, I really think we need peaceful demonstrations. We need open dialogue. The rioting and the looting, I don't get, but I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
Well, Josh, I would like to hear your perspective on, what happened, how you've been feeling since this whole thing, and, what message you have about it.
Damn, my heart has been heavy for a while now, man. Ever since I've heard about this, I honestly feel like I've lost, like someone in my life. So first and foremost, George Floyd, rest in peace. This is all for you. I'm at the man has kind of changed the world. So shout out to him. God rest his soul. I'm sorry, what was the question again? Was it more so on the riot?
Yeah, just more so like what has happened since then. We have the peaceful protest, but unfortunately we also have the rioting. Businesses that are already suffering are now suffering even more because of this. People are getting murdered over this, cops and rioters and peaceful demonstrators. So I figured you would have you were the best person to talk to on how your feeling is of it.
Yeah, no doubt. First and foremost, I think the riots are a result of so long of black people not being, not having their voices heard or not having change in their system. We have almost become like numb to this, like I feel like every, 5 to 10 days I turn on my TV and either, some black guy has been shot by the police or, some guys going to Starbucks and, they're arrested for, simply using the bathroom. Like it's a never ending cycle. And I finally, when you go about like 60 years of being peaceful and voicing your opinion and still nothing happens, at that point you're like, fuck it, burn the whole place to the ground. So do I agree with the riots? Absolutely not, because I think number one, the wrong people are causing damage. Like if you guys go on Twitter and you literally just look at like the videos of people rioting and the damage happening, no offense, but I'm seeing more white people damage businesses than I'm seeing black people businesses.
Yeah, that's it. It appears as though that it's people are using this as an opportunity,
right.
One, to instigate, and then to just foster this hate. I think there are a lot of people that are willing to let's resolve this and move forward, but then there's this element that's fanning the flames of hate, and they're using this as an opportunity to destroy things.
Absolutely, but and I look at it as no different as how our president got elected is false information. So, I've talked to a couple older people, and some of the things I've heard are crazy, man. Like they literally look at the news and they're like, oh, what the news says is true, so this is what's happening. So I just feel, as you said, Frank, like it's people with the wrong agendas who are breaking things and burning things. And then it's so easy to be like, oh, hey, look, those black people are doing it. Those people of color are burning down their own cities, when we're really not, man. The only thing we ask is to stop being murdered, stop being profiled, stop being, every day just, being less of a human being than the rest of the race. So, as I said, I don't agree with violence, and I don't agree with, burning down the city. I don't think my people are doing that. But at the same time, the system, you got to scorch the earth before new earth can, grow. So
well, I feel like that whoever is running our government, everyone gets fired and we start over. And that is like that, because everyone's wrong on every side. For me, like I have voted for Obama twice. I did vote for Trump. I'm not gonna lie. I'm more Republican than I am. Hate to say, I'm sorry to say that for most people out there. But
I vote for him again after him handling.
So here's the thing. I don't want to. I have to choose. I'm waiting for the debates to come out to really make my decision on it. There are decisions that he made that did help my small business, help me not pay taxes. So I always look at it as this. If someone has made a change, if the government in any way has made a change that has affected me in a way that has positively influenced me, well, why would I switch sides? So that's how I felt. And that's the same thing with Obama. I felt strongly for Obama to be president of the United States, and I voted for him. But then I had to choose between Hillary Clinton and Obama, and not Obama, but for Trump. It was like the douche and the turd were the two choices for our government. Hey, what are you gonna pick?
Now we kind of have a rapist and a child molester, so it ain't too much better now. So
first off, Apple has definitely spoken up regarding everything that they said about this. In fact, on Apple Music, they have a playlist dedicated. If you go to the
Big Time Cap. Before you say this, Big Time Cap by Apple.
Okay, yeah. Cap. Yeah, if you go to the For You section, that is where they had a big screenshot of they were doing Beats One all day, and they just showed this, and I listened to it for like an hour just to get my head around everything that's going on. But Apple has suffered a big loss here too, because there was a lot of stores that were attacked. Obviously with looting. Obviously, Apple stores are a big target because they have all their stuff out there available for you to just grab and go. Thank God they don't stock their phones and Macs out there, but they stock their equipment out there.
People were walking out with white boxes, so I think they had some stock in the walnut store.
Well, I guess it depends on if they lock that door. That's so.
Stop! It's getting smoky in here.
Yeah, I'm leaving that in. So there was a few stores. We're going to talk about a couple of stores. There's a lot of videos online that talk about some of the stores that were robbed. The biggest one that hit us probably closest is Philadelphia. They got really destroyed. Not only was there like a car burning right in front of the store, they had the entire store was destroyed, and it just looks like a mess. And this is an area that was not going to open up anytime soon regarding Apple because of the COVID. This is just a hot spot in this area, in the tri-state area. But then you have areas like Portland that got destroyed. You have D.C., a lot of D.C. in there. Portland, Oregon. Or Portland, Oregon got robbed. Scottsdale, Arizona. There's a ton of videos of it.
Man, they see the opportunity. And one thing I do say about that, like, prime example, I'm never for stealing. I've always had the mindset of you work hard for what you get. But at the same token, like people were robbing like sneaker stores, like high-end sneaker stores, and getting like $30,000 pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
Like people are opportunists. So if they see people are looting these stores and the police don't have enough people to take them out, man, I'm I don't want to play devil's advocate here, man, but if I got to pay some bills and I could pick up these two Apple phones real quick and feed my children, I'm going to do the same shit. People need to realize, like, you're a product of your own environment, and you'll do whatever the fuck you have to do to survive. So, that's how I look at those people who stole all that shit.
Frank, what do you guys say about the looting?
Well, I don't understand it. I'm kind of on board with Josh a little bit that, I everything I have, I earned, I paid for. I believe they are opportunists. but I don't think that there's a majority of the people that are out there to get that stuff and sell it. They're there to sell it, but I don't know that they're going to feed their family. I think they're just looking for an opportunity.
For their gain, you're right. Yeah, especially the people who messed up, all these mom and pop shops and these, these people had nothing to do with it.
Right.
They're not corporations. At that point, you're just an asshole. But I did start seeing, a lot of people will start, putting up like, hey, this is black owned, this is Latino owned, this has nothing to do with your riot, so leave it alone. And people were actually, protecting it. So, that's our strongest suit. Like how Apple says, our people are our strongest. It's the same thing for America, man. When we gather together, anything can be accomplished.
And I told people, I was like, well, what, if they agree with the riots and they agree on how this was handled and they feel like that's what we deserve for what happened, well, I look at it as, well, what if I went to your business and I did it? Or if it was someone of the same color that would go to your business and do it.
Owners, though, so it's that ignorance.
Sure, but there are. We talk about a guy locally, I think an African-American police officer off duty got killed, so it's like, it doesn't matter. It's almost like it doesn't matter. And that's where your guys' point is, that they were going to do this no matter what or who it is. They didn't care. And then that proves the point that, well, then this is not about what happened to George Floyd. This is just your way to take advantage of a situation and to take advantage of, the cops and the system and the government. And it clearly shows, like, I can't imagine living in other countries right now, watching this and seeing what this country is about now.
Well, it's because the media is making it seem like the protests are the looters. And
right.
I want to be very, clear here that there are people protesting, and then there are people who have a completely different agenda who want to, just want to see the world burn. So, I hope the rest of the world doesn't look at us and say, hey, these people are fucking crazy for destroying everything, because there are a lot of peaceful protests going on for that change. So,
Well, Josh, there was a I didn't mean to cut you off, but it just brought to mind, I was out on the web and I saw a post from a black gentleman in, I want to say Georgia, who was on his way home, going past the shopping center in his area, and he looked in the parking lot and he said, "What the hell is that pallet of cinder blocks doing there?" So yeah, it's very interesting. I wish I had kept it so I could have shown it to you. But he pulled in, he called the police. He said, "I don't know why this is here, who put this here. None of the businesses in that shopping center sold that kind of stuff." So he said when the cops got there, he says, "I'm putting this on my truck. Here's my name and number. When you guys find out if any of these businesses had this stuff, I'll gladly bring it back." A couple of his buddies came over, and the cops, they put it in his truck and he took it away. And that's the kind of thing that you're talking about, Josh, is that all of a sudden, you're in the street and all of a sudden a pallet of bricks shows up. Like, what? Yeah, right? I mean, how does that happen? It's just people instigating. Yeah,
exactly.
There's too many fishy. There's too much. There's a lot of fishy cops out there. But again, not every cop is bad. There were cops.
No. Every cop is bad. But what happens when the tree is spoiled?
Right.
That's like how I look at it. So hold on. Shout out to all my cop friends right now, because I know you guys are feeling crazy and it feel like the world is against you. I just want it to be known that I am not against my police officer friends, but what I am against is the mistreating and of power that especially white police use on a daily basis. So shout out to all those people, those police friends of mine trying to change the world, but you can't. It's too big. It's too big of an issue. It won't change by one person's calling out of other bad police officers. But
I was gonna have a transition out of that, but I really can't. So we were gonna talk about the stolen iPhones that were taken, or stolen Mac products. Now, me and Frank have been a part of Apple for 10 years. We were a part of it for a long, long time. Now, we were back in the day when Josh may not know this, but back in the day, the only thing that held down the iPhones or anything was just one wire that was glued with like a little bit of glue on there to hold it in place. And of course, if the
wasn't even super glue.
yeah, and I used to do them. So part of my job as a visual manager or visual guy was to basically put all those things on there. And so Apple gave us the guide on paper, by the way, not iPad. I had to do this all with a freaking booklet, and told me how to do it, how to glue it on, and then the sensor on the back, once it's released, it triggers the loudest alarm in the world. So that's what happens. And we've developed since then that now it's able to geofence where it is inside of the store and knows when it leaves the store. So it's gotten to the point now where it used to be just locked, but now it's locked and tracked. So, Frank, do you remember what happens when they leave the store with those phones?
Well, essentially, I guess they're just a brick. You know, they don't. They're non-functioning. You can't erase all content and boot it back up again as if you would your phone. So
I want to read. I want to read the best tweet that came out with it. This is the one where he actually shows a Walnut Street Apple Store phone taken. I think this is kind of known. It's out there. So he says, and this is quoting from his tweet: "Nah, son, I swear to God, I'd be hated." And he shows a picture. Please return Apple Walnut Street. This device has been disabled and has been tracked. Local authorities will be alerted. I wonder how many local authorities really went out there and grabbed them, though. Yeah. I'll be honest. I mean,
I don't think anyone keeps the phone out.
I really don't. Would you keep the phone, Josh, if you saw that?
I think about
it.
Well, you might want to throw it up on eBay and see if you get somebody to bite on it real quick and
parts.
Ship it away from
yeah. Because I actually have two stories. When I was in Freehold with those old connectors that you were talking about, Will, there were, I want to say, 5 guys, and the phone table was right up in the front of Freehold. And there were 5 guys that were up there, and I was talking to a couple of them, asking questions about the phones. And I kind of walked away into another table because we were done, and all of a sudden all of them just grabbed the phones, pulled them, and ran out.
Yep.
Now, I was naive enough to think that my first reaction was to try to stop them, and in my attempt to do that, one of them tripped and he fell on the floor, and then the one guy grabbed me. He says, leave him alone, and one of the other employees. And then when the guy got up and ran, he had dropped his car keys.
Oh.
So the store had his car keys, or a set of car keys. Now, of course, they called the police and everything. Now, I really don't know what happened to it. But that was the first time that I had ever been, close to somebody stealing the phone. And I actually, I don't want to say I got in trouble, but I was told very forcefully, do not attempt to stop anybody for any reason.
That's
Just let it go.
Yep.
Which I was a little taken aback by it, because
it's not your stuff, Frank, by the way. I just want to let you know that.
Well, yeah, I know, but listen, you guys would agree that when you're there, it's like your family.
Right.
Yeah, and so, but I never did after that. So, and then we did have one guy come in at Quaker Ridge, I believe, and said, hey, I bought this computer online and I can't get it to run. And it came up with that it was stolen.
Yes, I remember that story.
Do you remember that?
I do.
They called
so we brought that into the back of the store, and he literally waited there the entire time while we were trying to figure things out. Meanwhile, we're calling the cops. Because it does get flagged. Josh will remember this, that there is a flag when we do know that it's stolen. Now, the idea is to keep the guy in the store as long as possible. We're not going to take the equipment back. That we actually are not allowed to do that. So we called the cops, and while he's waiting in the store, he got arrested. When he got arrested, I don't know if you were there. I can't believe you weren't there for that, Josh.
Wait, so on the flip side of that, say if he actually bought it online and it was stolen.
Well, he would not get it back.
No, but he
got him arrested.
No, he was the guy I think that actually stole it. I think there was a guy that actually did. Remember, he brought a stolen Apple Watch in from another Apple store. It was running on one of those loops that run in the store. So he bought it. He brought it in. He's like, why is my phone doing this? We had to take the watch back from him and not give it back. We didn't charge him for anything because he had proof that he bought it from eBay. So he's not in trouble for that. But the other person you're talking about...
But he's out that money.
Yeah, he's out the money. Yep, he is. But he's not going to get arrested. That guy got arrested that you're talking about. Josh, you have any stories from any of the stores you worked at?
About theft?
Yes.
Oh, I have some funny-ass stories, man, because, like, I just always had that, like I've seen people, like, pull out weapons and shit, so I just never like, if someone goes to steal, I don't stop them, because, like, I'm not getting stabbed over this job.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would say the funniest one, remember when we used to have those product zones? Those, like, holiday product zones?
Yeah.
Yeah, those express lanes. Yeah, someone got me for like 10 iPads, yo. They had this like whole orchestrated, like, it was actually, I actually like clapped and was like, wow, these dudes were very like, thorough with their way of how they were going to steal these. But they had like 3 people. One was at the end of the Genius Bar, so I was in the express lane. And I think they like wanted a cable or something like that. They wanted something, but they didn't want to wait like an hour to get it. So I was like, yo, I could like get it done real quick. So anyway, I forget like the details of it, but all I remember is like they had 2 people like get my attention to just simply turn myself to the right. And the other dude came up to me. So I know like they're all 3 together, but he has a bag and he's just knocking iPads into this bag. So they're like walking out of the store and I'm like, I'm not going to chase after them. You know, they got that. I just told management and like kept it moving. But that was like, bravo to them for pulling that off during holiday season. Another one was a guy stole a Genius Bar floater.
I remember this.
Yeah, he stole a Genius Bar floater. No, I think this was when I was at Cherry Hill, dog.
You sure?
Yeah,
I remember that happening.
At Cherry Hill.
I know that happened at Quaker Bridge.
So he had like an iPod, old ass iPod that did not work, and he just seemed like he was trying to get it work for his kid and shit. So I felt so bad once again during holiday season. So I just got that soft spot in my heart. Yeah. So he gets me to go back in the Genius Bar like multiple times to try to fix his iPod, and I come back out, and when I come back out to like give it to him, he's gone, and I'm like, what the fuck? And like I look, and this dude is beelining it towards the door. He put it right in like the inside of his jacket.
You know, it's funny. That's because we had a robbery at our store, and that's when we had to keep. That's when we had to start carrying the computers with us all the time, or leave them in the drawer all the time when you're done. We had to do that. So that did happen at Quaker, because I remember the change was we would do that. You would leave your computer on the bar. You're around all these other people, so you figure, hey, someone's got to be watching it. No, they'll take it. And they have, and then that's what we started changing on how we were going to use those. That after every time you were done with a customer, you had to put it back, even if the next customer needed it. So that started happening with us. So here's the bottom line: don't steal anything at an Apple store. It's tracked. You could probably sell it for parts. Maybe that's it. Beyond that, that's all you got with it. So you can steal us. If you get away with stuff on the wall, great. You got yourself a case. Congratulations.
Take all that shit.
Yeah. So you can go get your cases. You can go get if you want to get that stupid basketball that had the Bluetooth built into it, you can get that thing. Yeah. There's a lot of stupid toys that Apple sells. There was a Bluetooth basketball, and I remember one day we had a competition to see who would sell like a weird item in the store. So one of the things we had was a baby scaler that has been sitting there. There's like dust on it, right? So it's that bad. And the goal was
scaler, like a small scaler, or
a scale,
babies.
Yeah, scale to weigh babies. That whatever, a scale to weigh babies that would Bluetooth to your phone, all the information. So the winner got like the biggest coffee you could possibly get from Starbucks. I actually was able to find a couple and say, yeah, we need something for our our sister's baby shower. I was like, oh, this is the perfect item right here. I'm wiping the dust off of it. Like I did it like behind, but I did it like in a weird way where they didn't see me do it. And I said, this is like the perfect gift. I mean, think about it. All the information can be tracked on their phone. They can have it forever. And they bought it. Did you at
least give them the family and friends discount?
No, dude, I ain't giving them a discount. They were dumb for buying that thing. And then I showed the receipt to Chad, and he bought me the coffee.
Oh, man.
So, I love it.
What's the weirdest item that you other than that scale? What's the other weirdest item you thought that we sold that was just?
I think the light case is pretty stupid. The one that has like a light that
take selfies.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought the one that I just like. Okay, I guess it's all right. Is the water glass.
The water glass.
Yeah, it connects to your Bluetooth and it says, "Hey, you haven't taken a drink in a while. Drink." I'm like, really? Somebody needs to know when to drink.
Oh my god!
But
that's pretty dumb.
It was like that tumbler that you just had, Will.
Yeah, there's no need to put that.
There's water bottles that just light up and let you know when it has to be drunk. Like there's stuff like that. Do you recall one, Josh? It's like a really stupid product.
Only thing I can think of is the that was a good segue. The only thing I can think of is the jump rope.
Yeah, the jump rope was.
Yeah.
I thought that would be kind of cool though. I thought someone who really is into that would like that.
Yeah.
But
look at the price of it, and
it's $199 jump rope.
Just go out and grab a piece of rope, man. What do you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But the product's fine, but don't buy it. So
the other one that they had was that ball. Remember, you had that ball, and you could play different games with it. You would throw it around, and it would vibrate and stuff like that.
I remember that ball.
Mm-hmm. Damn, my memory is completely shot of Apple. I think I just try to forget that chapter of my life.
Dude, we have to
enter these products.
We have 11 years of all that stuff that we have to go through, and that's it's hard to look at products back in the day that we would have said.
Hey, the one I still have that my grandsons still want to use are those cars. Remember those cars?
Yeah, the Ankis.
Anki cars.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the best.
You had to roll out the track for that?
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yep.
That was the best. That was the best item ever.
Too bad they all got returned when they bought them.
Yeah, that was one of.
No, they returned them. I literally sold as a creative. I sold every Anki that we had in the store. They told me 85% of them came back.
Damn. Yeah, these kids' attention spans are not that good.
Well, I think the product was a little ahead of its time, I would say. And then they eventually had a real track. But the cars were simple cars. Like, everything was on the app. And the augmented reality would have definitely worked better than probably the car itself.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about...
That was...
God, go.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to move on, man.
No, I was just going to say one of the best parts of the creative job was during the holiday season when the creatives got to play with all the toys.
I know. It was fun.
Yeah.
Too bad they didn't focus on the main objective, which was teaching people. But, God forbid, we had some kind of system. But let's talk about what happens if your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch is stolen. So there is a device on there called Find My. Hopefully no one ever has to use this app, but basically it is your tracking system on your phone that allows you to know where your phone is. You can also add anybody that's in your family in the iCloud family sharing are all part of this. That you can find every device there. Now, my sister ran into a situation where her phone was stolen in the Borgata. And this was back about 6 years ago. And this is just when this was starting. And I literally I said, hey, I need your login. So back then, you couldn't see other people's devices. Right. You had to get the login. So I got the login. I see the phone moving around the Borgata. So you have the ability to lock it with a different passcode. You have the ability to track it. You can
send a signal. You could send an alarm.
Send an alarm to it that makes it go off. And then you could write text on the screen, and you could change it as it's going along. So as this guy was holding onto this phone, I kept writing, I see you're on the first floor of Borgata. I see you're right by the steakhouse. Like I'm writing those things because I'm watching the inside of that place, even though you can't see the inside of the Borgata. The reality is I can't, but I'm guessing it. Eventually it was given over to security and she got her phone back. Wow. So that was going to be stolen because it was moving around the way it was because it was turned off too. So it was definitely going to happen. So we want you guys to make sure that you use the Find My device. You can erase your phone also remotely, which is really awesome. I think that's a great feature.
Yep.
You can remove all your credit cards on there. So why would you not turn this feature on? Of course, if the phone's turned off, it'll actually show the last known location. That is the best it could do for that. But with the rumored Apple tags coming out, that's a whole rumor going on. Yeah, Josh's face just kind of like went, what? You haven't been kept up on your Apple News, have you, Josh? It's like little tile devices that would basically be around everywhere, and the Bluetooth would be able to send a signal, and even other iPhones could send the signal of where the phone is.
Now, what I'm interested to see on these, you remember the tags that we had, right, in the store? They were not Apple tags, they were by a different company. What I didn't like about those, because I bought those, but you could not replace the battery yourself. After about, I'll say a year or a year and a half, you had to buy a new one from them at a reduced rate, but still.
Yep. Yeah.
So if these new ones coming out,
the battery can be replaced in the newer ones. So.
Oh well, then they may be useful.
Josh, have you ever dealt with a customer that was talked about, like, hey, I lost my phone? Have you dealt with anybody that you can recall with that, or ever use this feature?
I straight up lost my phone like 2 days ago, and I had to use my iPhone, so that's hilarious that we're talking about this. So it's a very convenient feature, that you can just log in with your Apple ID and password, and then play the sound. And I'm like looking all through my room to find it, and I finally found it. So it's shout out to Find My iPhone. If I could think of a time a customer used it, it's happened 1,000 times, but for some reason I just can't think of one that pops up.
Well, it's funny. I would always have people go to a computer, say, hey, go to iCloud.com, log in, and then they can't figure out their password, and then they ask me to try to fix it. I'm like, dude, you should know your password. Apple doesn't have it, and I can't stress enough. Apple does not have your Apple ID password, and we cannot change it.
Hey, Josh, I'm sure you've run into that at the
every
Genius
day,
Bar.
dude.
Too many times.
Yeah.
It's impossible to tell you how many times I could count. That's a big number,
you guys
but
hear the rain at all?
Yeah, yes we do.
You can hear the rain, right?
Yeah, Josh.
It's actually beautiful. It's like a purple sky. And it's
good. By the way, we had a lot of storms here in New Jersey on the day we were filming this, of course. So everybody's power went out, except mine, because, I'm lucky. I'm Will. Everything, when there's a will, there's a way. That always happens. Josh, I gotta tell you, you left Apple. What year did you leave Apple?
2018. And
I know, what would you say the overall experience was working for Apple?
It's cool. They're, since they're one of the biggest companies, I feel like they're always staying up to date. It's just refreshing to work for them. It's a cool environment. You get to do cool stuff, and they feed you. So I'm not going to badmouth them, but I just feel like the people that they select to lead is what deters a lot of people, and that's what ended up deterring me. So I just feel like that's why I cracked up at that statement that what was that lady who said we're for the black community and all that. I was just like, yo, that is a little bullshit, because the racist experiences that I have experienced even from like the management level is kind of crazy. So there was a lot of good and a lot of bad. So I don't know, my experience is it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? I wouldn't say I was vocal about who, I, like, when I voted for somebody, I know a lot of people, and, Quaker Brits were not happy with me, with my decisions or my political beliefs and stuff like that. I know that because I heard it. So it was no surprise. So sometimes I actually felt uncomfortable around you guys, but when we
wait, what do you mean you guys?
That's when we're just talking about it. Once you get out of that,
other
and
geniuses.
We go.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking like, because we would have these conversations in the room. We wouldn't really do this because the good thing about the Genius Room, you could talk about whatever you want in there and it'd be fine. So yeah, we get a little political in there. You have me, you have Zuber on one side. You might have Josh, and you might have love Zoobs. You might have Josh, and you might have like Jordan on another side, another opinion. Yeah. And But at the end of the day,
shout out to Maria.
Maria, oh, well.
Shout out to my girl Maria.
Yeah, she loves me. And the bottom line is, at the end of the day, we can all go bowling and go to a bar and hang out with each other. And that's a good thing about the family. Like, I don't have that anymore. Like, where I worked out, I don't have that. And I miss that camaraderie. Going to New York and working, I'm coming all the way home to Central Jersey. I don't have time to hang out with everybody. I got a 12-hour day, and 4 hours is just driving. Or taking transportation. No, I take transportation. No way.
I was about to say,
yeah, but even so, it takes the bus. That's got to be,
It's still a 2-hour ride.
How long is it?
Yeah. It's a 2-hour ride. It's 2 hours both ways with walking, everything. So, yeah. But the bottom line is that, I don't get to have that in camaraderie. I think we all miss that. Like, I would love for just I wish we had almost like an Apple reunion, and someone would organize that and do that. That'd be fun.
Apple Union.
Apple Union. So, Josh, just to wind things down, we want to thank you for also coming on today. We appreciate you hanging out with us, talking about a very sensitive subject. But what's your final thing you want to leave off with today regarding everything that's gone on, and any last minute things you want to say about it?
As I said, I've had a heavy heart with everything that's going on in the world with COVID and with the riots and injustice that is just plaguing Black people right now. I'm sorry, there's just no other way to put it. As I said, I think there's hope, because everything has to kind of crumble before something new grows. So I'm optimistic about this new world that we are going to live in. It's going to be pretty progressive. But to the people out there, just be safe, be smart, and hopefully, there are brighter days.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Frank, what do you have? What message would you like to say about everything?
I would like to say, please. Stay peaceful, keep your head, keep cool, open dialogue, and let's move forward together on this. I don't want to see things burning down. I want to see people sit down, have a glass of water or whatever, and open dialogue, and try to resolve this thing.
I think it's going to take a while for us to get over this. I think that, hate to say it, and Will Smith, I think, said the best thing. It's not that racism was calming down. It's just that more people have cameras now and can document it. And that's the truth. I thought that was a very positive message. I thought that was the right message. That, hey, it still happens. It's happened, but it just happened that there was a camera following it. It recorded everything. There's no question about what happened. And, I wish there was something we could do. I'm going to try. And I wish there was just a better way to do this. But unfortunately, it's got to this point, and now it's like every neighborhood in the world is basically a danger for people who are just not willing to play a game. So we want to thank you very much for joining us for this very special episode of the Think Different podcast. We are former Apple people that used to work there that now want to get together. And hopefully for the episode 50, which is only a month away, my goal is to get as many former Apple employees on one Skype call or one FaceTime call, and we just talk about talk about things. I think that'd be a fun episode to do. I'm hoping Josh will be around for that. All right, he gave me a thumbs up. And he's drinking his Voss water. Okay, so there you go. All right. Yeah. All right, guys. We want to thank you very much for joining us for the Think Different podcast. Everyone be safe out there. And we hope you enjoyed this special.
George Floyd.
Agreed.
And this was dedicated to not only George Floyd, but hopefully for peace for everybody in the entire world.